During the late 80s into the late 90s, there was a street racing group in Japan that was named Midnight Club, also known as the Midnight Club. They raced mostly on the Bayshore route between Tokyo and Yokohama, and this route was actually known by many locals as Wangan. The team ran races on this route in the cities for a decade, but one fateful night in 1999 changed that forever, when a crash happened and hospitalized 6 motorists. Although what they did was illegal, Midnight Club had morals and a strict code that stated that no matter what they did during their sport, they could not allow any civilians to be injured or killed, and believe it or not, even the police respected the group. However, that night in 1999 broke the code. In 2020, they resurfaced, but as a rejuvenated, recreated, and rebooted racing team, doing only sanctioned events, rebranding as the Midnight Racing Team. Even though the name of Midnight Club was, for the most part, frowned upon by the citizens, the group's existence inspired many things, a sort of rebirth in car culture and things of entertainment, like the anime known as Initial D. The manga later turned to anime known as Wangan Midnight, and of course, the famous racing game series known as Midnight Club. The series was created by Rockstar Games with the first game, Midnight Club Street Racing, releasing a year after the crash on October 26, 2000. Fun fact, Rockstar actually shut down Times Square to take this photo. Midnight Club, especially the first two, were very arcade-esque with the way that the gameplay was. However, 3 and 4, in its dub and remix editions, took on a more updated and realistic approach, even having licensed cars and music in the games. The series ran from 2000 to 2009. Unfortunately, the series came to an end, and although it was stated that the 5th game is in dev and was slated to release in, I believe, either 2011 or 2012, this obviously never happened, because I would not be making this video right now if it did. However, I've always felt like Rockstar could bring back the series if it wanted to, especially now as I doubt money would be much of an issue. If they had the money to put licensed cars and music in the third Midnight Club back in 2005, then there shouldn't be a problem now, especially with how much money they've earned from GTA 5. I understand that in the years since 2007, the prices to get that sort of licensing has most likely risen quite a bit, but like I said, I'm sure Rockstar has enough money. Midnight Club, if it were to be brought back, I believe would be a full reboot of the series. It wouldn't be the same kind of game that we had in the 2000s, as times have changed a lot. I believe it would be a very modern racing game, gameplay-wise, with the story being more in line with the original days of the real-life Midnight Club, probably being set in either the early 90s, in like 1991, or the late 90s, like 1998. I think a creative character feature would be really cool, like how NFS did with Heat and Unbound, only better. What Rockstar could do for the character creation is an updated version of GTA Online's. Maybe the one for GTA 6's, I don't know. This would be important since your character would appear in cutscenes. And another thing they should do is what Bandai Namco did with Naruto X Boruto Shinobi Striker, where you can choose the sound of the voice, like the pitch and everything. The game would need starter cars for when you begin. Number 1 should be the AE86. Number 2 should be the Toyota Corolla GTS, and number 3 should be the Nissan 300ZX. You'd need 3 starter cars, much like how Midnight Club LA, for example, gave you the options of the Scirocco, Golf GTI, and 240SX. Since the game would be more in line with the real-life story of Midnight Club, I could see the game being about the player character trying to join the Midnight Club. However, you won't be able to join without a fast enough car. Another fun fact is that the IRL Midnight Club had strict criteria. You couldn't just join. One of the criteria checks was how fast a Hashiriya, or in English, street racer car could go, which had to be over 250 kilometers an hour or 160 miles per hour for us in the West. Believe it or not, this was merely a minimum requirement. Anyway, this is where the races for free roam would come in, so that you can gain money and reputation. The money would help you upgrade your car, and the rep would help you find more lucrative races that pay out more money. A mechanic that I liked in Midnight Club LA is that to race people, you had to drive up and flash the lights at them, and I feel like this is definitely something that should be brought back should Rockstar develop this game. I liked the red light and pink slip races in Midnight Club LA, so I think that those should make a return. In case you don't know what red light races are, they were essentially these point A to B races where there were no checkpoints and you had to get to the red flare first. So imagine one of those races through Tokyo with the aspect of a pink slip to up the stakes. Something that could sweeten the deal is betting on the race. You could put your cash down, which is anywhere between 100 to 1,000, and race. If If you win, you keep your money and gain some. Win the car from the rival and earn more rep. However, if you lose your money, your car, and your rep goes down, and of course, the Midnight Club will look upon you negatively. In the old Midnight Clubs like MCLA, red light and pink slip races weren't for low skill players. You had to have skill and map knowledge, especially for those red light races. Locations. Tokyo and Yokohama would be present in this game as playable areas connected by the Bayshore route, of course, so I'd want the environment and world of this game to heavily match either in early 90s Japan or late 90s Japan. Due to hardware restrictions being more lenient than in the 2000s, I think it's definitely possible for Rockstar to create an extremely immersive Japan. Of course, in any racing game, you gotta have the police, you know? So I feel like they should do like how they did in MCLA, where you can pull over and be arrested if you want. However, your car would be impounded and your rep would probably drop a little bit. Or if you're quick enough, you can outrun them. I heard in GTA 6 the cops were supposed to be able to remember your car, so it'd be cool if they carried that into the game. Quick sidebar, but I feel like that feature will be extremely annoying in GTA 6, but not that annoying if it were added to this imaginary Midnight Club game. Before this video gets any longer, I want to go ahead and end it here. Part 2 will come out as soon as possible, so stay tuned and subscribe.